Hi everyone, it's me, the Broke Stacker. Welcome back to my channel. I was thinking about this, like what would be a good subject to have a video on with you in regards to when you're first starting out stacking. And I thought about a lot of the mistakes that I jumped into, and I wanted to go over those with you now so you don't fall into those, we'll call them a pitfall, if you will. We're going to keep our minds resolute when we're trying to go out shopping, stacking, name it, what have you. And I wanted to go over some of those today. Some of our strategies are going to be, what are we stacking? Are we stacking, say, we got some generic rounds? Are we going to stack some collectible rounds? Are we going to put something for our deep stack? Of course, every once in a while, you're going to want a what they call a silver ice cream cone. I've heard that phrase coined quite a bit, pun intended. Let's just say your stack is going to be a bunch of generics. Let's call them buffalo rounds or bars in general of different sizes. You can do 1 ounce, 5 ounce, 10 ounce, 20, 100 ounce bars, but you got to also think about when you're getting this stuff, who are you going to be able to sell back to? What's going to make it more liquid? Because this is the main purpose of this type of stacking, is to have a very liquid stack. You can't just turn around and flip it and get some of this stuff here, because let's face it, this is the most liquid stuff in the world right now. This is very important, even though it's constantly devaluing, opposed to many other things, but that's not its fault. It's maybe the people in government and just circumstances in general as to why this continues to depreciate over time, but this maintains its value over time. So anyways, this is very important. This is our end goal. We want to have lots of liquid assets, be rich, famous, whatever, what have you. This is going to make it to where you can go do the stuff you want to do. This right here is going to help you save for the stuff that you want to go do. So for me personally, this has been the very best way I have found for myself to save money. This is the real money. It goes with the test of time, and it is by far more valuable than this cotton paper here. This 100 years ago versus this 100 years ago. I mean, well, better example, dollar, silver dollar. Silver dollar was $1 100 years ago, right? Now this dollar is worth about 1/30th of the dollar it would have bought you 100 years ago. We're way off subject here. Anyways, your next little guy we were talking about here, you're collecting. This is going to be your numismatics and your personal collection. You know, what you like. This is what you're going to want to get for yourself. Maybe pass it down to your kids, give out as gifts, whatever, what have you. This is for you. This isn't so much for stacking. You're not going to want to give up this in an emergency when you go to sell your stack. God forbid, if you have to, but an emergency is emergency. That's what the generic stack is for. You want to have some of that in your arsenal. I know it's hard to choose between what you want and what's cheap and like whatever is kind of boring, but keep that in mind when you do have to go sell later. You don't want to sell the stuff you really want to keep and pass down, and it's collectible, and you'll probably never get a good chance to buy them at a great deal again. And also, the next layer of our stacking is our deep stack. Our deep stack is going to be our historical passed down stuff, generational wealth. Like, hey, it'd be really cool if I can show the grandkids, like, hey, these are in the family. This is what real money is. This is what it really was. This is showing history with your family. And it's just really exciting to, you know, show that. Like, the kids used to seeing this, oh, I want a candy bar, here, have 15 of these, and now I can get a Kit Kat, versus you show them this, and show them this right here is worth about 30 Kit Kat bars, and their little eyes will light up, and like, what? Really? No way. And then you you might just pass down that information to the next generation. I didn't really get that at the time. If I did, I didn't pay attention. I know we're all young and dumb, and sometimes we don't listen to the things we're supposed to. And then we come back over here, like I was saying, your silver ice cream cones. This is going to be a silver figurine or a silver bullet. There's all sorts of those, the silver pew-pews. Like, just stuff that you like to have for the sake of having, because you just thought they were cool at the time, and it's like, ooh, oh boy, I got one, it's shiny, cool, like, keep it in my pocket, whatever. Like, these you kind of want to avoid, like, maybe allow yourself to have that way once in a while, and say, like, on your birthday. Excuse me. Those would be good ones to have there. We're going to go into our next subject now. Among these other strategies you need to be keeping in mind when you're stacking is going to be setting realistic goals for yourself. Like, hey, I want to stack a minimum 1 ounce per week or per paycheck or per month, whatever. Set that goal for yourself. Make it realistic so you don't feel defeated at the end of the month or week or paycheck, and you leave yourself some wiggle room, some meat on the bone, so you can, if you want, double down, stack 2 ounces, 10 ounces, whatever. Throw that in your stack. You can't go wrong. You got to stay within your means. Keep a budget. Don't go bananas and just back up the truck and blow a boatload. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So dollar cost averaging is extremely important when it comes to this. That's basically what we're getting down to on this strategy, is dollar cost averaging. You want to limit yourself. Don't go all in, even though unless you do have insider information, like 99.999% of us don't have. I mean, nobody has a crystal ball, right? So that being said, know your limitations. Also, another factor we need to consider is how long you plan to hold. How long are you planning to stack, and where is your end goal going to be? Like, let's just say you're a 20-year-old kid, you plan to stack until you're 60 years old. That's over the course of 40 years. How much of your stack of that money, the deep stack, silver, gold, whatever, what have you, do you want to stack? Like, that'd be a really long-term goal, but at the same time, it's realistic to think ahead like that. Like, sometimes you're not going to be able to stack, but at the other times, like, sometimes you're going to be able to back up the truck, like I said. You need to know what time you're going to cash in, whether you're going to retire, whether you plan on keeping it for generational wealth and just passing it down to your descendants. You got to have a game plan. You can't just go buy, and then all of a sudden just say, screw it, I'm done with this, and sell it. And that typically, entry buyers are going to do that in the first 5 years. And typically, if you don't hold long, you typically lose. And the longer you hold it, the more you stand to gain of the cotton paper here. Another thing to consider is when to buy. Dollar cost averaging over time, buying the dips, buy low, sell high. That's kind of going on to the same theme here. Always look for sales, especially on specific items you've had your eye on for a while. Like, if you've been looking to buy something for a year, typically you're going to know what the average price has been. If it goes well below that price, maybe that's the time to pull the trigger. Another thing to consider is how to buy. A lot of people I know buy online. A lot of people do local coin dealers, garage sales, estate sales, stuff, what have you. Like, for me personally, I try to keep them in order of priority, taking care of your local businessmen there, your local coin shop, your LCS. Typically, if you have a good relationship with them, they're going to offer you better deals, especially on stuff that you're more acquainted with buying with them and stuff he knows you're looking out for. They're going to be able to get you that deal. Now the next spot other than your LCS, I'd say the next best thing to buy at, with the exception of rare deals, would be your online bullion dealers. Whether it be over here, over there, you need to shop around. Like, don't just go say, oh yeah, that's the best I've seen in a while. Well, if you haven't looked in a while, typically there can be other better deals out there, especially on specific items. I don't know if you've noticed, I've noticed, not all the bullion dealers have the same sales and the same items. Like, if you want Eagles, you got to go over here. You want pre-33 gold, you got to go over there. You want Britannias, you got to go over there. Like, they kind of spread it up. I don't know if it's intentional or not, and if it is, cool, but it's something you need to keep in mind when you are shopping around. Like, if you're looking for Peace Dollars, Britannias, Libertads, maybe you're not going to find them all underneath the same umbrella of a online bullion dealer. Maybe you need to bounce around or spread the money out a little bit. Either way, anytime you do this, you need to hit at least your minimum to get that free shipping, whether it be $100, $200, $500. It sometimes it varies. Always try to hit that minimum to get the free shipping. Otherwise, $20 on shipping, that's damn near an ounce of silver right now. So what's not good into that? So always hit that minimum shipping mark so you can go on getting more into the stack and not paying it out on shipping or other expenses. Now, the next spot you might not think of is keep it, the silver and the gold, bullion, whatever, what have you, collectibles, in your family, your friends. If you got everybody educated on the same page and everybody's thinking alike, yeah, say Uncle Bobby needs a water heater or whatever, but he has some silver, he doesn't have the cash, he doesn't want to sell it to the local coin store, because they're only offering him a spot. So you say, hey, I'll take it at spot, just pay me back when you can, I'll give it back to you at spot at that time. Now, that might behoove you in the long term if it takes them forever to pay you back, but sometimes he pays you back and it's like a month later, and you might lose 20 or 30 bucks, but you kept the wealth in the family. You didn't just give it to the pawn shop down the street, and that $200, $300 worth of wealth inside your family, inside your circle, just goes out the window. If you guys prosper inside your circles, the circle's going to grow and be even stronger, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just building your community within your community. It is a very important thing to have when it comes to stacking, but at the same time, be careful who you let in your community, because you never know, somebody might be looking to rob you or something like that. So be, like-minded people, individuals tend to flock together, but at the same time, be careful for the vultures. And speaking of vultures, we're going to get to our final typical spot where you're going to be tempted to purchase some bullion, and sometimes it's Facebook, sometimes it's whatnot, stuff like that. And unless you can confirm, trust, and verify, especially if you go out in public and meet with an individual to purchase, you need to proceed with extreme caution. Bring a buddy, go to a known business that has cameras, well lit, lots of people, just out in the public in general. That way, you're not going to get robbed at gunpoint, because they pretty much figure you're showing up with cash and to buy a product. Well, if they don't have the product, they're just baiting you in to steal your cash. You got to keep that in mind. There's pirates out there. So unless you're a really experienced bullion person and you know exactly what you're feeling in your hand, you can tell the difference between a fake or not. You don't have like a pocket peener or stigmatic, whatever those things are called, metalytics, metal verifier and all that, to test the bullion, and it's questionable, then just leave it alone. Oh, thanks, but no thanks. I changed my mind, and then you leave, and then, yeah, he'll probably have a sore ass for the next hour or two, but he'll figure it out, or he won't, because he just tried to rip you off. And if you know for a fact it was fake, you can also kind of say, hey, no thanks, but no thanks. Walk away from the situation, kind of flag him, and say if it was on Facebook or anything like that, and we can get rid of the parasites out of the community there. Anyways, these were just some basic strategies when buying bullion. Also, another book. I just picked up this book myself. I'm still reading through it. In general, from what I have been reading on the few subjects I have read on, pretty good source of information. They're updated every year. This one's 77th edition, 2024, the United States coins official guidebook, the red book, the official red book. I've been putting off for a long time to get one of these, and I finally got my hands on one, and I kind of wish I did it sooner. There's no reason I shouldn't have. What was this one? $20. You can get this book for $20 pretty much anywhere. I'm sure you could probably find it cheaper online, but it's a good thing to keep in your arsenal. It will keep you informed and keep you up to date. Also, I have been very curious. Nobody's mentioned my little friend over here in the corner yet. Please let me know in the comments if you think you know what this is, what it's for. You know, I'm kind of a big knife guy myself, not just literally big knives, but I'm into bladed instruments, and I know a little bit about it a lot. So, do you guys have any questions about that at all? Please, you know, reach out in the comments. I'm a plethora of information when it comes to these as well, and a bunch of stuff. Also, another thing, nobody's guessed what my first purchase was from where. Tuli was on there, and she mentioned the denomination when I got a 10-ounce bar. She was correct on that. I'm not going to get into the specifics of that, but also, what do you think, say, or yeah, that was the other thing, when I purchased, when I started stacking, and where I purchased it from. Did I get ripped off? Did I get a good deal? Like, just give me an idea what you guys think. Let's keep it exciting. It's still going. Nobody's really chimed in on it in the last couple of videos here. I was just curious if anybody's put any thought to it. Anyways, everybody, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and anything's appreciated. I do really enjoy interacting with the community. And I guess until next time, keep stacking, stack 'em high.